Quotes from Reverend William Bacon Stevens. From the Kindle, Deep Christian Quotes and Bible Verses. First quote. The world, indeed, may admire your exemplary life, and to the eyes of men who look at you from a worldly standpoint, and see you in the twilight of an earthly atmosphere, you may be regarded as good and noble. Yet to him who sees not as man sees, who measures you by the measuring rod of eternal right, who beholds you in the revealing glare of his divine glory, you may be a grievous sinner. For man looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at and judges the heart, and we can have no lot or part with him in heaven unless our hearts are right in his sight. Second quote. So, it is not enough that Christ has shed his blood on the cross, that blood must by faith be sprinkled on the door of each heart. There must be a personal application of that blood by faith. Third quote. So it is in spiritual things. Because men know so much of the truth, understand its claims, and have so much of religious reverence and sensibility, they imagine that they can easily take the step which will make them altogether Christians. Easily bridge over the narrow space between the not far from the kingdom. Fourth quote. It is the aim of your soul's adversary, to make you rest, contented in this closeness to the kingdom, in this almost Christian state. He will rather aid you in getting into this position, in the hope that once there, he can keep you there, flattering your soul with false hopes, deceiving conscience with false positions, and cajoling you into that self-satisfied condition, which is the sure precursor of eternal death. Fifth quote. It is God's moral qualities that we are to copy and emulate. These are revealed to us in his holy word. And though these, like the other attributes of God, are infinite, yet, they are held up before us as patterns for us to admire and copy. Sixth quote. The exhortation, exercise yourself unto godliness. For what is godliness? Is it not God-likeness? A seeking to be like God? Yet the question at once arises, how can man be like God? Yet there is a sense, and a most important one, in which we can be like God. Were it not so, the exhortation of the text would be a mockery. That sense is that taking the elements of God's moral character, as we find them set forth in the Bible, his truth, his love, his purity, his mercy, his goodness, his long-suffering, etc. We are to strive to make them the guiding principles of our lives. Seventh quote. Yet with all this disparity, the Bible exhorts us to set the Lord always before us, and to grow up into his likeness. What may be termed the physical attributes of God, those which pertain to him as maker of all things. Eighth quote. All of God's moral attributes are comprised in his holiness. For holiness is moral perfection. As applied to God, holiness means that wholeness and completeness of the divine nature, from which nothing can be taken, to which nothing can be added. Ninth quote. The presence of every virtue is needed, to make complete the full circle of holiness, and they are all found in perfect fullness in God. Tenth quote. When God then directs us in the Bible, be holy, for I am holy. When we are exhorted to follow holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord. When we are expressly told God has not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness. We are to know that by these words, God calls us unto godliness, or godlikeness, to be like God in all those moral qualities, wherein we can walk in his ways, and copy his acts, and manifest his spirit. In the language of the psalmist, it is setting the Lord always before us. Thanks.